My name is Bob Howe, and I'm with Top Image Systems. I'm the Director of Sales for Top Image Systems, and I'm really happy to be here this morning. There's actually 3 reasons why Carl asked me to speak this morning. First of all, I have played with Legos, so that's the first one. The second reason is because he knew that I'd attempt to send my presentation to the crowd so I wouldn't have to complete it, being a typical salesperson. And finally, if you pay attention, very close attention to this presentation, you will consume 744 calories before lunch. So this is the only aerobic presentation that will be actually presented to you today. So without further ado, I agree with my peers here that content management is an interesting space. Top Image Systems has been in the enterprise content management area for the past 25 years, and then more recently in business process management. Business process management being the function of taking very arduous tasks, very manual tasks, and placing software behind it and intelligence and workflow so they can be completed without the arduous rigor. So this is our company. We trade on the NASDAQ exchange. We have 800 enterprise-level installations in about 40 countries. R&D is in Israel, Singapore, and Germany, and our business is intelligent capture. This is our NASCAR slide. The only thing that I would point out to you about this particular slide is that Social Security Administration is one of our customers, and we process an enormous amount of data and documents for Social Security Administration, literally millions of documents per day. And so you can see that our software is both industrial strength and has a great practical implication, especially when it comes to seniors getting their checks on time. So what is our vision in crowdsourcing? I think we have a unique vision. When we look at crowdsourcing, we see it as a new and disruptive business model that is instantaneously providing access to the global human collective and turbocharging entrepreneurship through cloud-based labor arbitrage. So quite simply, there's always been an opportunity to gain arbitrage in labor. The difficulty is, how do you push it out to the crowd? And the challenge is, how do you leverage that? In our business, one of the big challenges that we focus, that really trips us up, is the software is only so smart. So one of the things I'd like to relate to you this morning is that, as great as our software is, it's only so smart. It requires tuning. There's an element of human intelligence and intuitiveness that's needed to make it run optimally. So when we looked at crowdsourcing, we saw it as a huge opportunity for us and for our company to be able to speed the change management process behind enterprise content management. We knew that we were good at what we did to the extent that we were about 90% of what we see. We can translate, we can articulate it, we can disambiguate it, we can put it into an electronic format, and we can push it into enterprise systems like SAP and Oracle. The challenge is that's just not good enough. Our customers want, and they demand, 100%. So the recurring theme, and the thing I would point out to you, is that percentage, 100%. This is what this is all about. So ECM Software, if you're unfamiliar with it, enterprise content software, I just wanted to give you another acronym, it helps skilled workers, but the problem is that it requires tuning. The software is only as smart as the algorithm that's written for it. So when it runs into problems, handwritten documents, documents that are fuzzy, documents that need to be cleaned up, something that requires an analysis of context, that's where the human collective can really help us. That's where the crowd can help us. The big challenge that we have is not that the people that we work with aren't very, very smart. It's just that the competencies that we need to leverage aren't always under that roof. Typically, they're someplace else, and that's where the crowd really helps us. And then the other problem is that even if those resources exist, the cost is fixed and heavy, and we'd like to make it variable, and that's where the crowd really helps us. So human beings are good at a couple things. One of them is this concept of human intuitiveness. As smart as we are and as intelligent as what we do, there's really no one as intuitive as a human being. So what the crowd does is it helps us harness that intuitiveness on demand when we need it with very high efficiency and it helps us automate these very rigorous, these very tough processes. Because what we're involved in is processes that help automate the entire spectrum from procurement to pay. Improving scalability, being able to help people ramp up quickly, solve very difficult problems for insurance companies, for healthcare providers. If you consider, we're supposed to be in this all-electronic age of iPads and iPhones, and we're supposed to be so far advanced, but I can tell you that during the course of a day, most of the people that I do business with, they have all of those things, and yet they're very manual. And so when we come to them and we're able to automate their content with 100% accuracy, that says a lot. That helps them lower their costs, that helps them shift their costs, and it also helps make their work more meaningful. We're allowing people through the crowd to move from these very tedious tasks, and they're able to focus on more core activities. We're able to push these elements out to the crowd and get more optimization. And I'm very happy to report that we also are a partner with Amazon Web Services. One of the things that Amazon Web Services does for us and our CrowdBridge Alliance is it allows us to take content and segment it in a way so that we can gain through content what we need through people. As you're probably well aware, within corporations, segregation of duties is a very important regulation that needs to be managed to. People don't want information to be managed by someone that has a personal stake in it, so segregation of duties is very important. But what about segregation of data? How do we secure that data? How do we make sure that it's randomized in a way so that people's privacy isn't violated? Because of CrowdBridge and because of what Amazon brings to the table, we're able to provide that to all of our customers. It's really invaluable. This is a real big paradigm shift because for years and for years, people have been waiting for artificial intelligence to boost the output of content management. But it hasn't happened. It hasn't happened for one simple reason. The key differentiator is people. Now, through the crowd, we're able to bring that to the table, and we're able to bring it on a just-in-time basis. So the case that I'd like to take you through is with a company called ENBW. Does anybody know who ENBW does? Good, you shouldn't. So ENBW is actually a utility company in Germany. If you read the description, I try not to read slides because, I don't know, I just think it's didactic. I get a feeling you could read that. But the net of it is they're in Germany, they're a utility company, and the issue with them is they process about 1,000 to 1,500 invoices per day. And they leverage two of our solutions, eFlow Invoice for managing invoices, and eFlow Ability Post for digitally managing their mailroom. So the business problem that the crowd really helped us with is how do we increase the number of digitized documents without increasing the number of employees? Well, of course, you could add software, but that only gets you about 90%. There's a lot of documents that get damaged. There's a lot of returned mail that comes back without sender that needs to be analyzed. And in their particular business, there's only a couple ways for this power company to make money. One of them is to be able to accurately read the meter so that they can charge you for the power that they provide. So as mundane as this seems, it's what we're helping them with is we're helping them with one of the few ways that they're able to derive revenue for their business. So what eFlow does is it actually takes little snippets of information, because in Europe, unlike in the United States, people really care about data privacy to the extent that there's specific punitive regulations around data privacy. So what we're able to do is provide them with snippets of information that they're able to manage outside of their systems of record so that they can match up information to ensure that they're doing accurate meter reading and that their mailroom is completely digital. So eFlow divides each entire document into context-free anonymous snippets. They have to be anonymous. We have to be able to segregate the data so that people's privacy isn't violated. They need to be validated in a way that provides very strong data privacy. So this gives you an example of some of the snippets that we're pulling out. So this is an example of the meter reading. So as you can see, what we're able to do, what these people in the crowd are able to do, is to analyze what that meter reading says through these envelopes that are coming in, so they can get accurate meter readings so that they can charge their customers appropriately. Although it seems very mundane, it's very difficult for machines to do. It really does require some human intervention. And that's the key. What the crowd really does is it provides intervention to assist the automation to come up with a more perfect result. This is an example of the electricity meter and how eFlow extracts figures into snippets, once again, these disassociated pieces of information, so they can be validated without requiring a strong protection of data privacy. And then with our crowd control center, coupled with our eFlow interface, we're able to validate all those various pieces of information. So this gives you an example of the information we're trying to segment, how we're trying to prioritize it into urgent and not urgent, and how we're trying to change the paradigm by switching some of it from technology to people. These are examples of what we're validating. So the crowd readers take these elements, they validate the reason, they select why the envelope didn't reach its destination, and so on. So ENBW has traditionally implemented eFlow for processing invoices. They've been doing this with us for a number of years, and for optimizing their meter reading. The validation of questionable data has always been done manually, so the difficulty for them is how can they increase their hit rate with the software? Because ENBW has been using our CrowdBridge platform, they've been able to get a 100% accuracy of validated data within 6 minutes. It's really unheard of. No one's been able to do this. It's unprecedented. We're able to do it because of the crowd. So the crowd's changing the paradigm. Don't believe what you hear. Software can't do everything. It does some things very well. It does a lousy job at other things, particularly when you're dealing with things that are generated by people. It requires people to translate that data. It's because of the crowd and because of our world-class technology that we were able to deliver this 100% accuracy and really change the paradigm for ENBW. So I hope this is helpful for everybody as a practical application of how the crowd can change the game for technology companies like us, Top Image Systems, and for their customers. This gives you a kind of a flow of how we take the information out of eFlow, how it takes structured information, semi-structured and unstructured, how it flows it through various systems, OCR engines. We use OCR engines. We use fuzzy logic. We merge it with some proprietary stuff I can't tell you about or I'd have to kill you. And then we push all that information into CRM systems, ERP systems, enterprise systems, and so on for capture and delivery. So what we have today is a turbocharged version of our software that we're able to offer through the cloud, through Amazon Web Services, and we're really happy about the alignment. We think it's going to really revolutionize a lot of industries, specifically insurance, where the average case could be hundreds of pages. In the case of healthcare, where you're trying to manage large pieces of information, maybe 1,600 involved in a particular case, in a whole bunch of areas, and really revolutionizing the process of managing information from the design, the collection, the recognition, the validation, and the delivery of this. My name is Bob Howe, and if you have any additional questions, I'm happy to field them. Take care, guys. Thank you.